Good morning, Notre Dame fans. Mike Singer and Kyle Kelly live on a Thursday morning talking Notre Dame football recruiting. What rather would you be doing than hanging out with your boys? We're going to talk some Notre Dame, and it's going to be a jolly time. Folks, if you're watching live or watching back, please hit that thumbs up. I cannot emphasize enough how much that helps support what we're doing here at Blue and Gold. And if somehow you have not subscribed yet, join the other. I think we're approaching 24,000 subscribers on YouTube. So please do that if you would be so kind. Kyle, how you doing this morning? Everything well?
I think so, man. We're back in the routine. Last week was a little funky, coming off the bye week, felt a little slow moving, but yeah, I think everything's going well this week. We were out on the road last week. I'll be out on the road again this week, and big Notre Dame game on Saturday. So things are pretty exciting in my world.
Yeah, man, things are going well. I am glad to hear that. So I guess let's just dive right into the main topic of the show. That's something you felt pretty strongly about, reporting on for this morning is 2025 defensive back recruiting. It is heating up, as I put in the headline or title of this YouTube video, I should say. Things are in a pretty good spot for the Fighting Irish. Yeah, Kyle. I mean, they don't have a commit yet, but it seems like they're in a good spot. And I have pulled up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 profiles of players that I'm like, Notre Dame is the leader, maybe, but if they're not the leader, they're at least like very much in the mix. There might be one kind of stretch in there that I'm going to mention, but yeah, Kyle, you're liking what you're seeing from DB recruiting for the Irish this cycle, in 25, I should say.
Yeah, things are trending super well, especially at the safety position. I know that's a position Notre Dame is have a little bit difficulty recruiting compared to other positions in years past. I don't think Notre Dame got like any of the top of the board, like on 300 high 4-star guys in the 24 cycle, but things are looking great for the 25 cycle. I know we've talked about Ethan Long a lot from the past, Greenwich, Connecticut, Brunswick School. He's not a top 300 recruit by on threes metrics yet, but I have a feeling he'll end up climbing up as the cycle continues to progress. Yeah, glad to bring him up. It says, I think, yeah, about 350. So a pretty good looking recruit. He's got all the top Power 5 offers from the Midwest, even though he's from the Mid Atlantic area. Pretty Western heavy recruitment at this point. I know Penn State's involved in there as well, but in my head, I always group Penn State in with a lot of those Midwest schools just because they're a Big Ten team.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ethan Long. I think the other guy we can mention real quick is talking about safety recruiting is Ivan Taylor. I just submitted a on-3 expert prediction for the Irish to land the 25 4-star safety from Winter Garden, Florida, West Orange High. Admittedly, followed your pick from about 3 months ago, so you've been on this one for a while. But after hearing your interview with Ivan Taylor on Saturday night, just a light bulb clicked in my head. Like, yeah, this is one I feel 100% confident in predicting to Notre Dame, especially with the, as I described it in my story, the growing optimism and confidence from Notre Dame side of things. So you've been on this one from day one, which I give you all the credit because I'm not sure I would have ever seen a public school choosing Notre Dame over all those Southern schools.
Yeah. Yeah, when you say like the public school Florida thing, it's more so because you're just more likely to see it if a kid goes to a school called Jesuit, or something Catholic. But yeah, the point being that all Florida kids are just more likely to stay in the Southeast, but it's a little more likely if they go to a Catholic Jesuit, kind of school, private school. So that's kind of the Kyle point there. Jay said the blue and gold recruiting show rocks. Thank you, Jay. Marcel, good morning. We got Ian Book's brothers in the chat. I'm telling you, man, Josh looks like Ian Book. I've been saying this for years at this point. Carl, good morning. And Andre, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. You touched on safety recruiting, Kyle. Let's talk about the safeties on the roster right now. Xavier Watts was a receiver, a defensive back in high school, but he came to Notre Dame as a receiver. Ramon Henderson was like a 3-star, came to Notre Dame as a corner. Thomas Harper, Oklahoma State signing, I'm guessing like a 3-star guy. Who am I missing? I
Uh,
like the guys that
you
are
know
playing.
the there's yeah, the guys that are playing right now, but then my mind goes to the 3 class because that was the first class I started covering at Notre Dame. But you mentioned a lot of the older guys.
Yeah. So
Um,
even like Ben Minnick and a Don Schuler, not like elite, super highly ranked prospects, really good ones. Don Schuler was an All American, a 4-star guy for sure. But since Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame has not signed like an elite safety. Tate Johnson, if he signs with Notre Dame, the young man from Fort Wayne Northside who's been committed to the Irish for a few months now, he'll be the highest ranked safety for Notre Dame since Kyle Hamilton. And I'm going to pull up Tate's profile, and he's currently being ranked as an athlete, so it's not super apples to apples. But he currently is the number 164 overall player in the country. And you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, Kyle, but I'm pretty sure that national ranking would be highest since Kyle Hamilton, at least per the On3 industry rankings. So safety recruiting on paper has not been one of the better positions Notre Dame's recruited. It's actually been one of the worst on paper, according to rankings.
yeah,
Not the
right.
be all end all. I'm sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, I said no, exactly. We're not like kind of giving our perspective off what Notre Dame thinks of these guys. We're just to make it easy for everyone to
Make it
go off what the are.
right. You guys know me. The rankings are not the be all end all, but for the purpose of just like this discussion, rankings are a fine kind of like baseline point. So you go and get like an Ivan Taylor, number 103 overall player, number 8 safety, 24/7 and ESPN see him as a top 40 overall prospect. ESPN number 30 nationally. On3 lower at this point, 172. Rivals as well, 134. On3 has him as the number 15 safety of the country. Rivals is 14. Taylor's not the biggest guy, but I think that he can play. When we saw him at corner at Irish Invasion, he was fantastic. So safety recruiting could be really good. I'll even throw this guy out there. He's not a Notre Dame lean, and you would know this better than me since you've been covering his recruitment so closely. You've seen him a couple times in person. Trey McNutt is an elite prospect in this 2025 class as well, who Notre Dame is very much in the mix for. You mentioned Ethan Long, not a highly ranked guy yet, but that'd be one that I'd kind of keep an eye on. I could see him as a riser. Another safety, Jordan Young from North Carolina. He's a borderline 5-star type guy. And this is when I mentioned kind of there's a stretch in there. This is that. I don't think like Notre Dame's, the leader or even top 2 option at this point, but he's visited Notre Dame, speaks highly of the Fighting Irish. And then another safety of note is Jace Cora, who visited for the USC game. It's like his first or second recruiting visit he's ever taken. So he's more off the radar in terms of like national rankings and stuff like that. But those are kind of the main safety names to know in terms of guys who've been visiting campus regularly and whatnot. So it's a really good group, and Notre Dame looks like the team to beat for Ivan Taylor and Ethan Long for sure. And then, they got some other safeties that are in good position for Kyle.
Yeah, I think the 2 names that we're most monitoring at this rate are Ivan Taylor and Ethan Long. And I think I said on last week's show that with Ethan Long, he's getting close to a decision. We'll visit Michigan and Michigan State at the end of the month. Then he'll kind of hash out where he's at recruitment, maybe take a junior day visit or 2. But I think things are kind of winding down for him. And then I know for about, I don't know, 20 hours or so, the Lucky Charm story from last night. I'll feel comfortable revealing your report here, but I think expecting Ivan Taylor back on campus for the Wake Forest game. And if that's the case, I mean, that would mark 4. According to his recruiting profile, we only have him as visiting Florida State. He hasn't been to any other game day visits this year, so
Yeah.
I know your signature term is follow the visits, and this one, it can't get any more obvious than that. Ivan Taylor is very high on Notre Dame, the only way to put it, and just what an outstanding job the entire Notre Dame staff has done with his recruitment so far. Like I said, I don't think we can say enough how impressive it is for them to possibly go down to Florida and get defensive back with an NFL pedigree, and it looks like they're trending that way, especially if Taylor makes it up to campus for Notre Dame's home season finale.
Yeah, so he told me he's visited Florida State and Tennessee both 2 times apiece, but we don't have dates on that, so it's not on his page. But yeah, Notre Dame looking like the team to beat for Ivan Taylor. Visited for Irish Invasion in June, back for the barbecue at the end of July, and then Pitt game. And then, yeah, we reported yesterday afternoon that he is coming up for the Wake Forest game. So had that scoop at blueandgold.com yesterday. We're going to talk about the cornerback position in just a few moments, but I just needed to check my watch that's not on to see what time it is, Kyle. It's Prize Picks time, my friend. You ready for some Prize Picks? Because I need some help. Your boy has
Yeah,
not been killing it. Your boy's not been
I'll be
killing it.
curious. See, well, you don't like to put on the ones you don't really do great at, but I would like to see the history. But let's not eat up too much time.
All right,
We'll
so
go.
real no, we can look at it real quick. The there was a Jimmy Butler promotion that dropped his points from like 23 to 16, and then there was a Corey Seager and Jared Goff special. And I feel like when they do the specials, they want you to hit that more. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw some shade and throw the less down there. And both did not hit. So, that's fine. This is the one we did on the show last week. Zach Wilson, the quarterback for the Jets, to throw more than 195, hit that. And then Jalen Hurts had scored a rushing touchdown in like 3 straight games, and he did not against the Commanders last week. And then they also, Prize Picks also does like, if for folks watching YouTube, you see all these quarterback entries or picks here: Prescott, Stafford, Lawrence, and Tua. On the promotions tab up here, they basically have these like experts picks. So I just did one of theirs, and they did not. It did not, hit for me. But this is, if you're like, I don't know what to go with, you can always just kind of go to this promotion tab, and there's always some cool stuff, especially for NFL season. But yeah, that's how I've been doing recently. So let's get into this. Yes, Prize Pick sponsoring today's show. You pick 2 to 6 players for an entry, and if they will go more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win 25 times your money on an entry. At least possibly, depending. I think you got to go all 6 guys, or you got to put 6 players, and and that's probably a power play as well. And first-time users that deposit and use the promo code BGI will receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So you deposit 100, Prize Picks will give you 100. If you do 25, they'll give you 25, so on. Download the app or go to prizepicks.com and make sure you use that promo code BGI. You guys know they do a ton of different sports: NFL, NBA, and NHL, college football, soccer, video games, tennis, trucks, NASCAR. Trucks. I don't even know NASCAR trucks. I don't even know. MMA, everything, guys. So check it out. Prizepicks.com. They do fun promotions like Taco Tuesday, where players get points taken off their projection for you to hit that more, and Flex Friday, which I love, which is basically like a free entry. If your flex pick on a Friday doesn't hit, then you get your money back on that. So yeah, for this week, Kyle, we're probably not going to do trucks. And let's just take a quick look. I'm not doing entries on the Notre Dame players anymore because it just gives me a weird juju about it. But Audric Estime, more or less than 80.5 rushing yards. Chris Tyree, 37.5 receiving yards. Sam Hartman, 230.5 passing yards. And Sam Hartman, 1.5 passing touchdowns. 1.5 passing yards. Yeah, 1.5 touchdowns against Clemson. So those are the Notre Dame um, players for this week's Prize Picks. Interesting little roster there. I like the more on some of those, but again, we're gonna not do the Notre Dame just because it's been messing with me sometimes watching these games. So, um, do you want to go NFL, college football? What do you think, Kyle?
I'm always a big NFL guy when it comes to
Okay.
price picks.
I like to look at the quarterbacks with passing. Taysom Hill, 0.5 passing yards. Is this like a gadget play kind of deal? I like quarterbacks. I've been liking the Zach Wilson lately, but 215 for him. Any that stand out to you in passing yards, my friend? Will Levis action 201?
Who do they play again?
Pitt. So yeah, probably not. Pittsburgh
Steelers.
seems to be pretty tough. Or we can go like less than 282 for one Patrick Mahomes against my Dolphins. Any of these stand out to you?
I feel like you got to go with Mahomes now.
The less?
So you can, yeah, root for the Dolphins, man. Add a little extra kick, a little
Yeah.
incentive there.
So if you're playing daily fantasy, you should not play with your heart. But I mean, also just play for fun. So, and then I always like passing touchdowns. Oh, Jalen Hurts. Oh man, they got Dallas. Should we go less Jalen Hurts passing
It's
touchdowns?
going
He's been
all less
hot.
this week.
Yeah, Kyle, come again.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to think. I know Dallas has a decent secondary. AJ Brown's also been on a tear these last couple weeks. Jones is back in the mix. Not certain on that one. And that's our only touchdown option. What else we got going on?
Yeah, that's it for now. They usually add more rush attempts. I mean, there's so many different. I mean, receiving rushing combo. There's a lot.
For
Um,
rushing,
rushing yards. Do 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 do.
man, I think if we're doing the under or the less on Patrick Mahomes, we have to do the more on Isaiah Pacheco.
So
Have
we
those
have to have them
balanced.
on different teams. We have to have if we're gonna do a two player power play. And then yeah, we gotta pick somebody. You know what? We're rolling
Alvin
with
Kamara.
Derek Carr, 2.5
All right.
rushing yards no more. There it is. Boom. We're just rolling with that because we spent a good bit of time on this. All right, let's move into back to Notre Dame recruiting. Thank you, Prize Picks. Use that promo code BGI, guys. So the looking at the cornerback spot, Devin Williams is a guy who was just on campus for was it US? No, was it Ohio State? He was it for Ohio State game, I believe. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
he's an elite cornerback. Mark Zachary, a huge Notre Dame Ohio State battle, in-state kid, top 200 player nationally, down to Florida, Berkeley Prep. Talking about Florida prospects. This is a private school kid. Notre Dame is looking like maybe the team to beat in that recruitment. Kevin Humes, I know you're seeing in the near future, Kyle, and you could touch on him. But Notre Dame coming out of his visit, was that for the USC game too? Yes, that was for
Yes.
the USC game. Notre Dame, it looks to be in a pretty good spot with Kevin Humes. Of this, every player we're talking about today, I feel the best about Creed Thomas, considering that he went to the Pitt game and then, he was at USC and then for the Pitt game. So Notre Dame's looking really good Creed Thomas from Phoenix Brophy Prep. Actually talked to him last night, Kyle, and I'll have that article up at blueandgold.com probably this afternoon. And then actually going back to the safeties, I forgot to mention Jadon Blair. He had a really good visit for the Notre Dame Ohio State game. So that's another safety I forgot to mention. Did not get to him, but yeah, Jadon Blair, is another safety who the Irish look to be in a good spot for. But you can let me know if I'm forgetting anyone. But the main corner targets that I scrolled the offer list that it was like, okay, Notre Dame's had these guys on campus before. They're huge targets. It's Devin Williams, Mark Zachary, Dallas Golden, Kevin Humes, and Creed Thomas, Kyle.
Yeah, those are pretty much the 5 names to know. I know they had CJ Bell from, the Mid-Atlantic area on campus for one of the, camps June. He picked up an offer. We were expecting him on campus this fall. Looks like it didn't really come to fruition, but Creed Thomas had especially when you already mentioned it, but considering he went to the same high school as Benjamin Morrison down there in Phoenix, private school, Jesuit school. I know we talk about these Jesuit schools a lot. Notre Dame is not a Jesuit institution, but they seem to recruit a lot of these Jesuit programs. So Creed Thomas is the next one. I think we're liking where Notre Dame's at right now with all the connections there. Wouldn't surprise me if he's the first one off the board from a cornerback perspective, but the name that we mentioned frequently on the show all the time is Mark Zachary, the Indianapolis Ben Davis product, Notre Dame Ohio State battle, Michigan's in the background, Georgia as well. But I really think this, as we said time and time again, it's Fighting Irish or Buckeyes for Zachary, and like a few of these guys, they've been up to camp 3 or 4 times already, and recruiting is so expedited these days. So once again, if Zachary is a guy that gets up to campus in January, I would really like where Notre Dame trends there. I think I'm kind of getting close to picking him with an on-3 recruiting expert prediction.
To
Probably
to which school?
Notre Dame. I
Oh,
really like the way things are looking with Zachary. I'm going to touch base with him after his junior season wraps up. They just had a super big win last Friday. It's one of the best teams in the state, and another game this Friday. So I talked to Mark Zachary a ton back in October, September. So letting him breathe a little bit, and I'll circle back with him after the season, see where his head's at. But I think the Irish are in a super good spot, especially considering they made it down there during the evaluation period a few weeks ago.
yeah, Notre Dame, if we feel the best about them landing Creed Thomas, and Creed Thomas, rankings wise, 3-star guy, um, number 372 overall player, number 43 corner. I mean, ESPN hasn't even ranked him yet. I mean, seems like it's still kind of early in his rankings journey, but you'd have to be pretty excited about Creed Thomas at corner and Ivan Taylor at safety to start
Real
this
quick,
DB class.
what was Benjamin Morrison in that 22 class? I think he was 22, right? I don't think he was a extremely highly rated guy.
No,
He
none of
came
the
out.
sites had him very ranked. He was not nationally ranked by any of the sites. On3 slept on him the most. I mean, borderline 4-star. I mean, 89 grade for On3 is just a shade under. But yeah, between 45 and 30 cornerback nationally in his own class, and now he's like one of the top 5 best corners in the country.
Mike Mickens, man, that guy can develop corners like nobody else in the country.
Yeah. So then maybe you get like a Kevin Humes, Mark Zachary, Dallas Golden. I think Devin Williams might be a little bit of a long shot, but your Notre Dame defensive back recruiting is in a really good spot right now. And here we are spending, a good bit of time talking about it because it really is an impressive group. So, yeah, I mean, I think I talked about this in a couple of shows now in the past week that like Notre Dame is more deep and talented at corner than it is tight end. Like just think about that. And that you might think about that and be like, Singer, what the hell are you talking about? Like Notre Dame's tight end room is really good, right? But 4 deep of Cam Hart, NFL guy, Ben Morrison, NFL guy, Jaden Mickey playing a ton of ball. See, I don't know if he's an NFL guy, but we'll see. And I don't know if Christian Gray is, but like, look at Christian Gray. Like, look at him as a true freshman. That cornerback room is really damn good. So yeah, it's impressive. It's a really impressive group, and definitely hats off to Mike Mickens, his longtime friend and boss, Marcus Freeman gave him some love in his press conference on Monday. So yeah, that kind of wraps up the 2025 defensive back discussion. We're going to talk about CJ Carr and some road trip shenanigans that you two boys had here, but we are going to hear first from my perfect franchise. Kyle, I do have a question to ask you. Are you a displaced corporate executive, Kyle?
Not yet. If I
Not
was, I
yet.
know.
But Kyle, if you do become a displaced corporate executive, maybe you're just wanting to put your career in your own hands. Maybe Kyle is an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify. Well, if this is you, then you're going to want to talk to Andy Ludicky because he's a huge college sports fan and franchise veteran, having owned multiple franchises and businesses. Using his expertise, Andy helps others find their American dream through a very thorough consultation and evaluation process. Give Andy a call at 404 973 9901. Put your life and career in your own hands. And best of all, his services are 100% free to use. So, what do you have to lose? Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. Give Andy a call, 404 973 9901. Tell him Mike Singer from Blue and Gold sent you. Morning Dynasty. What's up, my brother? Hope everyone in the chat is doing well. So, this past Friday, I flew into Detroit. My boy Kyle Kelly picked me up, and we went to Saline, Michigan to see Notre Dame quarterback commit CJ Carr in action. Stopped and hung out for a little bit at a local watering hole. Just grabbed a soda, guys. I actually had a coffee. And then went over to Saline nice and early, saw CJ warm up, and then the game, which was at 56-14 final score, Kyle. And what
Yep.
was the stat line confirmed from your stat guy at Saline? What did that end up being?
Yeah, we got it right. 17 of 20 for 200 yards, and
That's
I
insane.
didn't get rushed, but I think we're pretty confident about 2 carries for 12.
So it was basically a perfect performance by CJ Carr. Had a couple drops and then a throwaway. Where he's trying to make things happen with his legs and ended up throwing the ball away. So we'll pop on the film and Kyle on my show with Darren Pritchett on Tuesday. I kind of talked about this and broke down this tape. So I'll let you kind of do it. What you saw, just kind of your takeaways from this game.
Yeah, I will say I posted some extensive thoughts on Sunday morning, I believe, or Sunday afternoon about what we saw from CJ Carr in the first playoff game of his senior season against Ann Arbor Pioneer. And I kind of outlined in the story, with what the Saline offense asked CJ to do, it's a lot of dink and dunk, a lot of short passes, as you can see here, a lot of stuff flats, a lot of stuff behind the scrimmage, not really asked to do a whole lot, but CJ is highly effective at what he does. You can see, I mentioned in the story that two biggest throws that we saw him make, one of them being here, were actually passes that were not caught. Both were beautiful 40+ yard throws right into the hands of his wide receivers. Neither of them came in for receptions, and you see the reaction of the guy on the video there. He was pretty upset not to see there, but yeah, those were the two perfect best throws that we saw from CJ on Friday night. He also had a throwaway, so pretty much a near perfect performance. And I'll be curious to see. I haven't had the chance to watch your video here, but one little minor concern with Carr that I've seen with watching him a few times, especially in person, is he tries to do like the Patrick Mahomes, like extend the play, like run backwards and try to make something out of nothing. And admittedly, he's really effective at it in high school. I'm just a little bit concerned that once to college and you got those all those edge rushers that are running, under 4.8, 40-yard dashes, that they'll be able to bring him down pretty quickly. And I think that's a pretty easy fix too. Gino Gaduli just has to tell CJ, throw that ball away. But he's a pretty smart guy. He knows what he can get away with in high school, and he's been pretty effective at it so far throughout his career. Having an outstanding senior season. Here's that other throw. I mean, Mike, if you could just rewind that one for me, because that
Yeah.
pass, I don't think you can place it any better than this.
All right.
Oh no, that's longest reception
Here
of
it
the
is. Here
day.
it is. Yeah.
Look at that, right in his hands. I think some of these receivers, man, it's almost like it's too perfect, that much of a surprise. But yeah, I mean, terrific ball placement. Just really says a lot about the chemistry CJ had with his receivers. And I also noted in my story that CJ's an underrated rusher as well. He can use his legs when necessary. He's not a Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson in terms of talking about like NFL guys, the quarterbacks, and just do so much on their feet. But he's mobile, and he can move plays along. He can step up in the pocket. So yeah, pretty happy with what we saw from CJ Carr on Friday night. He was much better than the last time you saw him on that 7-0 loss against Bedford. Um, yeah, last year. But yeah, here's one of those plays where CJ's backtracking and letting the guys chase him, but he threw that ball away. So just maybe doing a little bit more of that. But overall, really impressive outing in first round of the Division One Michigan play for Notre Dame's quarterback commit.
Yeah, he was outstanding. I mean, he's cool, he's calm, he makes plays with his leg. Here he is, making plays outside the pocket and delivering a nice ball. I hear your concern there. I think that's a very valid thing that he's going to need to make sure he's got in check at the college level when the game speeds up, and you're not playing against not the best competition in Michigan. But speaking of competition, Michigan, they have a huge game this Friday. I'm guessing on the road at Belleville. Bryce Underwood's the number 1 overall player in the 2025 class, 5-star quarterback, and that is the team that Carr will be playing. And that was the team that they played in the playoffs last year, and fell against, and that is the team that they have again this week. So that should be a pretty darn good game. I'm guessing another high-scoring affair. So huge outing there on Friday night for CJ Carr. But overall, Kyle and I were very impressed with the Notre Dame quarterback commits. 6'2" and a half, 195 pounds, top 100 overall player. Very excited about CJ Carr. Now, after the game, Kyle, can we have a review of your first time at Taco Bell? You had never been to Taco Bell before. What'd you think about your first time there?
First time at Taco Bell. First time at Taco Bell in Michigan, maybe. But yeah, no, very interesting experience. Made our way, I don't know, 10, 15 miles west to our first Taco Bell. Did our little mobile online orders so we could get the points on our apps with our accounts. And unfortunately, I don't know what their explanation was. They said switching the line or something like that. I'm not too sure, but yeah, we decided to ditch that one, go to one a little bit closer to our hotel, and it all worked out. I know you thought things were delicious. I still think we could have went with a more local, exciting option, or perhaps even a better fast place, but Taco Bell the trick.
I mean, I was down for any of the fast food spots, but it was just it's 10:30 on a Friday night. Where are we gonna get, there's not a ton open, and Taco Bell's screaming my name. Yeah, it was not bad either. Oh, and it was one of those Taco Bells that was attached to a gas station, which I've never seen a Taco Bell like share a building with a gas station. But it slapped. It was pretty good. And then so then Kyle and I drove into South Bend Saturday morning, and that was a really cool experience. Of course, I'm sure many of you have seen the picture with me, just staring down Sam Hartman with such evil in my eyes. I'm just so angry at him. I'm just kidding. I really wasn't. I was actually looking at Joe Alt. But it was a really good time. I had a fantastic experience, at Notre Dame, and the whole experience was just great. And then it was great hanging out with the boys. I updated my Twitter header. Did you see this, Kyle? Oh, the little header on
No,
Twitter, little header
I
picture. All right,
wonder
let
if
me show you.
it's
Hold on, I got you. Hang tight, hang tight. There it is. It's the boys. Yeah, your face kind of gets cut out here.
that's good. We'll keep it that way until I get a haircut.
Look at the boys. Yee. On mobile, you're not cut out, but It was fantastic. We got a great crew at Blue and Gold, um, so yeah, it was a great visit for me. And then this Saturday, planning on going out to old Clemson, South Carolina, which will be a fun experience as well. I've not been to a Clemson game before, so definitely looking forward to that. So Kyle, you posted a thread on the message board that I wanted to discuss, and you're posing the question: what would be an acceptable finish to the 2024 recruiting class for the Fighting Irish? Now, this is like asking what's an acceptable finish to a season. Like, are you national championship or bust? Like anything less than a national championship is a lost season. And I'm speaking to you Notre Dame fans here, or is it like they need to make the playoff, or is it just like if Notre Dame plays 12 games, I'm just happy. You're just all sunshine and rainbows. It's really up to your interpretation. It's actually something we talked about last night on the Goolsby and Hyde show, which Jay Carr just asked Mike, did you mentally recover from that show last night? And I did. It was great. I loved it as we were recording that live. So it's kind of the same thing with the recruiting rankings. Like is it you need to have a top 5 class? You need to have a top 10 class. So Notre Dame currently has a number 10 class in the country. They did get recently as high as 7. And then I guess some of these other schools landed some big commitments. Notre Dame has landed a new commitment since August in the 2024 class. So Notre Dame at 23 commits, 1 5-star and receiver Kane Williams, 14 4-stars, 8 3-stars. So yeah, Kyle, I'll pose that question to you, and for folks watching live, watching back on YouTube, let me know what you guys think. Like, what is an acceptable finish for you for 2024 team recruiting rankings, in this Irish class?
Yeah, the way I sort of see it, I think, if you're a reasonable Notre Dame fan, outside of some of the outliers, with really good Notre Dame teams, a couple of them over the last decade, I think you kind of always shoot for like a New Year's Six Bowl with hopes that, maybe one year they can go to the national championship and just see what happens. So, in terms of like Notre Dame football team, I kind of them like in that top 12 team range. And I think that's sort of an acceptable finish in the ring rankings. And you know,
Okay.
it it's so hard to kind of put into words, I guess, because like Notre Dame feels like so much higher on a lot of these guys, like compared to the way the media rankings have them so far. But yeah, I know. I think top 10 would be ideal, but I think if Notre Dame can get a top 12 finish, just the 24 class, you kind of have to call it what it is at this rate. There's got a couple really top tier guys, a solid group of 4 stars, but then a lot of those 3-star guys at Notre Dame's kind of like in our eyes taking a chance on, like the Teddy Rizaks and Carson Hobbses and some of those guys that they have Power 5 offers, but Notre Dame really just covered a lot of those guys early on in their recruitments and taking a chance on those guys with hopes they pan out. And I think Notre Dame thinks they will. I mean, there's a really exciting core group of this class when you talk about the Kingston Viliamasas, Kedron Young, Bryce Young, Logan Thomas. Like, there's some really exciting pieces in this class that I can understand why Notre Dame think that some of these guys should be ranked higher, because I'm in agreement with them. So pretty solid class overall. And I think you're a Notre Dame fan, you can go to bed sleeping at night, knowing Notre Dame finished with a top 10 recruiting class. Maybe you're a little restless, wake up a time or two if it's top 12, but I think you should be pretty excited about the group Notre Dame brought in with Marcus Freeman's second recruit class.
Yeah. As you guys would imagine, I have many thoughts on this. I just want to go through the 3-star players real quick. Bodie Cahoon was literally talking to a Notre Dame source this morning before our show, and Bodie came up. Notre Dame is very excited about Bodie Cahoon and his stats. I mean, he's over 100 something tackles already, right, Kyle? I mean, through like 5 games,
Yeah,
150.
He's got over 150 tackles this season.
So not playing the best competition in like what is that, West Virginia, west part of Virginia,
Yeah.
Western Virginia. Yes, thank you. But like Bodie is just Like, he's playing very, very well. Jack Larson, I mean, go look at his offer sheet. Like, that's kind of a data point that we like. And Jack Larson's been playing very well. Notre Dame got him off the board very early in the 2024 cycle. Tight end that they're excited about. Tabron Benny Powell. They saw him in camp. They loved him. Went and got him. I think he's going to be a good piece for the Irish defense in the future. Sean Sevillano weighs 325 pounds. He's a big man. That's an exciting, Notre Dame's excited about him as an interior defense lineman. Carson Hobbs is going to be a solid corner for the Notre Dame. Kennedy Urlacher is literally Brian Urlacher's son. I'll take a flyer on him if you want to call it that. Cole Mullins, I think, would have been a huge stuck-up guy if he would have played this year. But, he had an injury. Do you remember what the injury was, Kyle? Was it I don't remember
Yeah,
now.
unfortunately, I think some sort of lower leg injury.
Yeah. So he's out for the year. And then Teddy Rizak ran a 4.5. That Notre Dame, saw in a video or something like that. He sent in a video of him running a 4.5. So, there's a lot of excitement, even with the 3-star guys. But the discussion to answer the question of where does Notre Dame need to rank for me personally, I'll answer with kind of a non-answer of I really don't give a damn. You have literally a 5-star receiver in Cam Williams, right? You have Gerby Lambert, the top offensive tackle on Notre Dame's board. The top offense, this is the guy if they could have anyone they wanted. Same with CJ Carr. I mean, that was their guy. So they got their top receiver, offensive tackle, quarterback, and linebacker in Kingston Viliamoasa. I mean, Kedron Young's a freak show. Is he playing in a postseason All-Star game? I think he's going to the All-American Bowl, right?
He got an invite there. I think he accepted it, actually. Yeah, so he'll be there
Kedron
in
Young
San
is
Antonio.
going to play in that. He literally could end up as a top 50 overall player. I mean, he's just a freak show this season. Bryce Young is literally a creative player in Madden. I mean, Tay Johnson, highest ranked safety since Kyle Hamilton, as I mentioned earlier. Logan Thomas is a Keon Keeley clone. I mean, Aeneas Williams just puts up you're playing Madden on rookie mode. That's his number. You just go on and on. This class is loaded. So if this group finishes 6, great. If it finishes 15, great. Is it still the same players? That's all I care about. Because it's a really good class. You got the quarterback. You got the guy to protect them. Hell, even the other 3 offensive linemen in the class, Anthony Knapp, Styles Prescott, Peter Jones, Notre Dame is ecstatic about this offensive line. The running backs, that's one of the best tandems in the country. It's a top 5 tandem in the country in Aeneas Williams and Kedron Young. The defensive line is really good. You got one of the best linebackers in the country. Leonard Moore at corners, Notre Dame thinks he's a freak show. There is a lot to be excited about. So rankings be damned on that. Now, from where I would like to see them finish, just kind of based on using that data point of rankings for just a little historical information, right? Notre Dame has finished in the top 10. Excuse me, let me start over. Notre Dame, if they finish in the top 10, that'd be 3 straight classes, and that would be Marcus Schumann's first 3 years, or first 3 classes into Notre Dame head coach, right? We'll give him credit for 2022. He's a DC, then finished class as head coach. 2023, it finished number 10. If they finish in the top 10, it'd be 3 straight years. Notre Dame hasn't done that since, I think it was 06, 07, 08. That's it. And you're doing that in Freeman's first 3 years. So for me, I would like to see Notre Dame in the top 10 each year. But if they miss out and it's 11 or 12 and that's the class you hit at such important positions, I'm good. I'm good with that. So that's kind of my rant on that, Kyle. Any thoughts before we move on?
You said it much better than me, I guess. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I mean, the players are what they are.
It's not very hard to say something better than you, Kyle.
I agree. Hey, man, the players are what they are. They already got them. I mean, I'm really excited. I've seen a lot of these guys in person this fall. I know you've seen a lot of these guys in the past too, and some real contributors down the road at Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's a great class, man. And the 2022 class for the Irish that ranked 6, like that class had Ben Morrison. It was a great class, but I think I'd take like 2024 over 2022. Like 2024 is a really good class of the Fighting Irish. Thing about 2022 is it was so top heavy. Like the top three classes, I think it was Georgia, Bama, A&M, just cleaned house on everyone, and it was like easy, like score wise, like the rating score that is used in these rankings, right? You see on the right side of the screen. Notre Dame currently is at 91.619. If you go back to 2022, it's like Notre Dame's barely higher, I believe. Actually, Notre 92.594. 17 4 stars, 5 3 stars. So the thing about 2022's ranking is there was not many 3 stars. This year they have a little bit more in the 3 stars with that's 2023. Hold on, 2024. I think what did I say, it was 8. So some of these guys get late bumps, and then you could see that rating moving up. So yeah, that's kind of the rankings discussion. Wanted to finish the show, Kyle, with on the road this week. I am not going on the road Friday because the Clemson game is at noon, and I just wanted to make sure I get a good night's sleep. And I gotta wake up pretty damn early on Friday to drive over to Clemson. I'm a little bit worried about that traffic, and you figured, just be there as early as possible, and take in that area, which an area I know really well since I own property there, and have been there, half dozen times at this point. But yeah, so I will not be on the road seeing a high school game, but you are seeing a Notre Dame commits in the state of Ohio, my friend.
Yeah, this is one I want to save until the postseason to really see Carson Hobbs at his best, and it'll be a rivalry matchup in round two of the Division One Ohio State playoffs. Carson Hobbs and Cincinnati Archbishop Moeller will be playing St. Xavier from Cincinnati. It is a matchup I'm really looking forward to. Two of the top teams in Southwest Ohio. To my knowledge, at least to the start of the season, St. Xavier's quarterback was Kirk Herbstreit's son, Chase
Yeah.
Herbstreit, who came to Notre Dame.
Yep.
They have linemen there that Notre Dame had up for a camp, Tucker Caddis. And I think Al Golden's son is a linebacker at school. Al Golden family still lives in the Cincinnati area, I believe. So, yeah, really looking forward to seeing how those guys perform Friday night. I know Moeller's got a really good team. Started to build some momentum toward the end of the year with the first-year head coach. Have a really talented running back, unfortunately from Michigan for some of you Notre Dame fans, Jordan Marshall, who's a stud. But yeah, should be a really exciting Friday night, and I think that St. X offense likes to throw the ball, so Carson Hobbs might get tested a time or two, and we'll see how he fares.
Okay. Yeah. Looking forward to your reports on that. And then we'll see where we go next week. I still don't know. I might take a trip down to Florida. I don't know. It's gonna be kind of a last minute thing. So we'll see where we both end up. Maybe I'll end up in Georgia. And do you know where you're going next Friday? Just give me a nod.
Yeah, it's going to be my first plane trip of the year, so we'll see.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You're going down to Baltimore. That's right. Yeah, and we've been doing so much driving. It's not been as much flights for us because yeah, I just my first flight of the fall was to Detroit. But yeah, in years past, I would I would always go to Texas. There would always be someone in Texas, and St. Louis. I'd pretty much go every year. But yeah, it's been a lot more driving, and Kyle being having Kyle has made that easier since Kyle's driving around the Midwest a lot, and kind of bunkered down here in the Southeast. So. Yeah, that is going to wrap up today's Notre Dame recruiting update. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, of course. Really help support us at Blue and Gold. And subscribe to the content, of course. Come on, Singer, you got this. Thumbs up on the video, subscribe. How many times have I said that in my life? I can't even get it right. And blueandgold.com is definitely going to be your home for all things Notre Dame recruiting coverage. I have quite the busy day ahead of me. And I think like 3 more stories I'm doing today. So in addition to this live show, so it's definitely going to be loaded. Kyle's going to be writing stories at blueandgold.com, and then Marcus Freeman has a press conference at noon Eastern, so about 40 minutes from now as we wrap up the show live. So you're going to want to check out blueandgold.com for the live coverage of that. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us here at Blue and Gold. We will see you guys Saturday. Kyle and I will be manning the post game live show. Tim Hyde is coaching a game on Saturday. So, Kyle, you better bring it, bro, because I'm going to be in that press box and it kind of can be crazy. I don't know what to expect, just like I didn't know what to expect in the live show this past Saturday. So, I'm going to need you to bring it. Yeah, we'll look forward to that Saturday right after the game on our YouTube page here. Appreciate you all. And as always, we will catch you next time.